Hello, I'm Peter Towers, Managing Director for ESS BIZTOOLS and ESS Bassett. Welcome to Accountants Minute. Accountants, crowdsourced funding offers you many benefits. The crowdsourced funding legislation commences its operation from September 2017. This will unlock new revenue streams for accountants. This is brand new legislation, so no one has got any prior history in advising clients on crowdsourced funding. And very importantly, you don't need a license to be a key advisor to your clients and prospects in helping them to get ready to be able to make a crowdsourced funding offer to the crowd. It will also enable you to differentiate your services in your marketplace. Not every accountant's going to offer this, but hopefully around 1,000 firms in Australia will be able to commit to offering this very important service to the small medium enterprise market. Another very important component of this is that this market is not going to be subject to competitive pressures, nor is it going to be subject to the taxation office continually changing things and tax return preparation work becoming more and more of a commodity type product. It's got none of those aspects at all. The components of the crowdsourced funding revenue stream start with you being able to have an informed conversation with a client or prospect about what's involved in becoming a crowdsourced funding ready company, able to make a presentation. You would be able to utilise the crowdsourced funding checklist that ESS BIZTOOLS has prepared to assist you to determine whether a client or a prospect will meet the requirements of the CSF intermediary, who is someone with an Australian Financial Services Industries licence, who will be the gatekeeper for this legislation. These people have a responsibility to check that everything that the legislation requires has been produced, is available and is able to be displayed for potential investors to view on the CFF intermediary's website. Then there's the preparation of the CSF report, and the ESS BIZTOOLS product package has a template of a report which will enable you to report back to your client or prospect on all aspects of the requirements that they have to adhere to be able to utilise this exciting sphere of being able to raise money. And then there's the work to be done to ensure that a company is CSF investment ready. And this will cover items, some of which are not accountancy work, but they all need to be done. So I believe there is a role for an accountancy firm to be the overall CFF project manager for the client. So the first very important document is the market research. Who wants to buy this company's products? What are they going to be able to be sold for? Who are the potential customers? That would lead into the development of a marketing plan. What needs to be done to be able to create the sales revenue that this company is going to need to be able to trade at a profit? Then there's the treatment of intellectual property. Has the company already got intellectual property? Should they be applying for patents? How do they handle their patent applications? Who is going to be the directors? Who is the management team and the team of other employees? What's the company's research and development policy? Has it got a proper policy in place? And then we move into the business plan. And this is the de facto prospectus. The legislation says that to be a crowdsourced funding company, you don't have to produce a prospectus, but they're all going to need business plans. And this is really accountants' work if you are prepared to be offering business advisory services. And from there it flows into the budget and cash flow forecast, looking at what's likely to happen in the next 3 years. And part of that will be the valuation of the company and the calculation as to what the share capital requirements are going to be to raise capital, and therefore what is the value of the shares in the company that you're going to be asking investors to invest in. When all that's done, you will have assembled the documentation that is called in the legislation the crowdsourced funding documents, so that these are then able to be presented to the CSF intermediary, who will then go through and check them and decide whether they meet the requirements of the legislation, and then that intermediary can place that CSF offer document from your client onto their website, where it can remain for a maximum of 3 months. And that is where the investors are going to go to invest their money. Part of the documentation, though, will be the information memorandum that is required under the Corporations Act. And obviously, once all this is finished, there are the negotiations with the CSF intermediaries, because your client will have to negotiate with them as to what fee they're going to charge, which will normally be a percentage of the subscription fees that they receive, that they are able to retain once the capital has been raised. So I would urge you to start now. It's no use waiting to September, because there's going to be a lot of clients and prospective clients out there anxious to get started, so that in September they are ready to be able to lodge their documents with the CSF intermediaries to try to start raising capital. Many of them are not going to want to wait until September to start going through the market research, marketing plan, business plan, budgets, cash flows, information memorandum process, because that's going to take months. And it will mean that they're into 2018 before they're going to be able to raise any capital. Now, who are these clients going to be? When the Prime Minister announced this policy in December 2015, he indicated that at least 4,500 companies had been unable to raise capital in 2015. I published that figure and had a call from a number of accountants and a couple of emails that said, "Where did you get that figure from?" Well, it wasn't our figure, it was the Prime Minister's. And when I inquired, its source was from Oz Industry, who had recorded the number of companies who rang them or contacted them and complained that they couldn't raise capital. And as a few accountants have pointed out to me, the actual figure then could be substantially higher. And I agree, because not many clients, I don't think, would go off and complain to Oz Industry that they couldn't raise capital. So the figure could be, as one accountant suggested to me, as high as 45,000. That's a lot of companies wanting this sort of work undertaken for them. The fee for the work that I've outlined to you has got to be in the vicinity of $20,000 to $40,000 per client. It's not going to be a cheap process, and the lion's share of that can be undertaken by an accountancy business that is committed to offering business advisory services. Most of these people will be used to dealing with small, medium-sized accountancy firms. So I would urge you to be the key advisors for these emerging companies. If you don't offer the service to them, though, they will be forced to go to other accountants, business advisors, or Big Four firms. And you will be left in your firm with tax returns. I think your team would like you to be ambitious and go after this sort of work. It will offer very interesting work, and it most definitely will be offering real accounting work. So the ESS BIZTOOLS package for crowdsourced funding includes forms and templates, checklists. It includes a ready-to-use seminar, or could be presented as a webinar that you could present to your clients, so the PowerPoint slides are done. The various handouts are prepared, even the invitations are prepared so that you can send them out. We have prepared an article that you could send to your clients and prospects that will talk to them about the crowdsource funding opportunities for them. There's an article we've written that you could place on your website to inform the public at large that your firm is committed to being very active in this space. And we've also prepared for you a news alert that you could send to your local radio, TV stations and newspapers, talking about what you are doing in the marketplace. So now is the time to get ready, and I would urge you to do so. You can start using the material that is contained within the ESS BIZTOOLS package virtually straight away. All you have to do is to pay a subscription of only $399. This will give you 12 months 24/7 access per office to utilise this material. We are presenting a special webinar on crowdsource funding to mark the launch of our crowdsource funding product in cooperation with 4 accountants on Thursday the 27th of April at 12:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. To register for that webinar, please go to our website www.essbiztools.com.au and make sure you have registered for this very important webinar where we will take you through the various steps that are going to be involved in advising a client on crowdsource funding. If you would like to obtain a special article we have produced on crowdsource funding, also go to our website and register for it there. Please don't miss out on this opportunity to claim a slice of this new income stream that would appear that it has been specifically designed for the benefit of accountants. I know it hasn't, but it's there. It is your opportunity to grasp it and to give you and your colleagues and your team some very interesting work. And above all, you will be very appreciated by your clients and your new clients, because I'm sure that you will attract them if you promote in your location that you are a crowdsource funding friendly accountancy business. Have a great day. Goodbye.